Good afternoon and welcome to Math with Mr. D. Today we'll be finding elapsed time, or how much time has gone on from one event to another event. Let's take a look at our first problem. If student A studies for her math test from 4:15 p.m. to 7:25 p.m., how long did student A study for the test? Well, here's how we're going to solve that problem. There's two steps to solve this particular problem. Step one is to write the times in units of hours and minutes. So we know our ending time was 7:25. So we're going to write 7 hours and 25 minutes here. And our start time was 4:15. So we'll put 4 hours and 15 minutes here. Notice how we lined up our hours and how we lined up our minutes. That's going to come in play for the next slide. Slide 2, or step 2 rather, is to subtract the starting time from the ending time. Again, we want to make sure that our hours are lined up with our hours and our minutes are lined up with our minutes. Let's take a look at how we do that. Again, see, it's nice and neat. Hours lined up with hours and minutes lined up with minutes. So now it's a basic subtraction problem. I could start with my minutes. 25 minutes minus 15 minutes gives me, 10 minutes. And the 7 hours minus 4 hours gives me, you guessed it, 3 hours. So student A studied for her test for 3 hours and 10 minutes. Now we're going to come across a different kind of problem, and there's two ways to solve it, and I'll show you both ways. The first way to solve the next type of problem is by using military time. Now, we don't use military time all that often here in America. We use it for law enforcement and for the military. But it's an important skill to know, in my opinion. So I'll teach you the military time. 1 p.m. equals 1,300 hours. 2 p.m. equals 1,400 hours. 3 p.m. equals 1,500 hours, all the way to 11 p.m. So next time you want to impress your friends, your family, whomever, and it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon, you can say, hey guys, it's 1,400 hours. So just a little fun thing there for you. But again, military time is going to come in for our next kind of problem. If you want to pause the video now to write down the military time, you can definitely do that. So the next kind of problem, we'll be using military time. If Billy plays outside from 9:15 a.m. to 5:45 p.m., how long did he play outside for? Well, if you remember from that first problem that we did, we subtracted. But this doesn't work here. We can't use this way. Mainly, if we subtract 9 hours from 5 hours, we get 4 hours. And that's just not a reasonable answer. So, for this kind of problem, we're not going to use that way. We're going to use military time. If you remember from before, 5 p.m. equals 1,700 hours. So we'll write 1,700 hours, and the minutes stay the same, and we'll say 45 minutes. And we're going to subtract that from our start time, from the time Billy went outside to play. 9 hours and 15 minutes. I know the light's there, I do apologize for that, but take my word, it's 9 hours and 15 minutes. And now I'm just going to subtract at this point. 17 minus 9 gives me, you guessed it, 8, and 45 minutes minus 15 minutes gives me, 30. So Billy played outside for 8 hours and 30 minutes. Now, I told you there was another way to solve this kind of problem, and we'll talk about that right now. Again, same kind of problem, same problem from before, same time, so I haven't done anything except a different way to solve it. So what I can do first is I can make 9:15 into a nice round number into 10 o'clock. And that's what I'll do, 10 a.m. So how do I get to 10 a.m.? Well, I add 45 minutes to 9:15, and that gets me 10 a.m. Now, I want to get to noon. So 10 a.m. plus 2 hours will get me to 12 p.m. or noon. Now I'm at 12 p.m. and I want to get to my ending time, 5 hours, 5:45 rather. So I'm going to add 5 hours and 45 minutes to 12 p.m. and that gets me 5 minutes and that gets me 5 hours, 5:45 p.m. So now what I want to do is I want to add up everything to the right of the addition sign, my 45 minutes, my 2 hours, and my 5 hours and 45 minutes. It may look a little confusing, so what I've done on the next slide is I made everything look a little more aesthetically pleasing. I lined up all my hours and all my minutes. If you remember correctly, we added 5 hours and 45 minutes, we added 2 hours and 0 minutes, and 0 hours and 45 minutes. Okay, again, I'm getting these numbers, these minutes and these hours from the previous slide. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add up my hours. 5 hours plus 2 hours plus 0 hours gives me, 7 hours. And 45 minutes plus 0 minutes plus 45 minutes, it gives me 90 minutes. So my answer is 7 hours and 90 minutes. But you may be saying to yourself, wait, Mr. D, there is no 90 minutes. Well, there is. 90 minutes equals an hour and a half. So what we would have to do then is we could leave our answers at 7 hours and 90 minutes, but because we're in 5th grade, we like to show off our math skills. So we'll rewrite our answer for 8 hours and 30 minutes. Well, everyone, that's how we find elapsed time. I hope that you learned something today, and have a nice weekend.